2026 was a painful year for wrestling fans worldwide. Several legendary wrestlers sadly passed away. Their legacy and impact will never be forgotten. Let's start our video. Adam Sandorski, 8 Feb 73, 23 Feb 2026, was one of Poland's most iconic freestyle wrestlers. Nicknamed the Olbrzym z Rzeszowa, giant from Rzeszów, because of his extraordinary size. He stood about 240 cm tall and weighed around 13 kg, and his remarkable presence on the mat. Born in Zarzecha, Poland, Sandorski came relatively late to competitive wrestling, but quickly became a dominant force in the super heavyweight 300 kg category, winning a bronze medal at the 1980 Moscow Olympics, competing again at the 1988 Seoul Olympics, and claiming multiple medals at World and European Championships, as well as several Polish national titles during a career that spanned the late 1970s and 1980s. Revered for his strength, tactical savvy, and competitive spirit, he also became a well-loved figure beyond the sport, appearing in a few film roles due to his distinctive stature and earning the admiration of fans and fellow athletes alike. After retiring, Sandorski made his home in Germany, where he spent many years before passing away at the age of 73 in Witten, Germany on 21st February 2026, a death that was widely mourned by the wrestling community in Poland and beyond as the loss of a legendary athlete whose legacy continues to inspire young wrestlers. Bob Boyer, born September 25, 1932 in Toronto, Canada, was a Canadian professional wrestler best known for his long career in the territorial era of wrestling, from the late 1950s through the 1980s. Wrestling under his real name and the ring name Bobby Bold Eagle, he competed in numerous promotions across North America, including Dick the Bruiser's World Wrestling Association in Indianapolis and early projects of the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, combining athletic skill with a memorable Native American persona that made him a fixture of the era's regional circuits. During his decades in the ring, he squared off with many notable opponents and won several regional titles such as the NWA Mississippi and Alabama Heavyweight Championships and others across Gulf Coast and Georgia Championship territories, showcasing his versatility and durability as a performer. After retiring from wrestling around 1987, he transitioned into a long career outside the ring and was remembered fondly by peers and fans for his contributions to the sport. Bob Boyer passed away peacefully at his home in Zionsville, Indiana on January 4, 2026 at the age of 93, marking the end of a distinguished life in professional wrestling that spanned the golden age of territory wrestling and influenced many who followed in his footsteps. Sefer Baygın, 6 Feb 1942, 24 Jan 2026, was a celebrated Turkish freestyle and Greco-Roman wrestler who became one of Turkey's most respected competitors in the lighter weight classes during the late 1960s and early 1970s, rising from local clubs in his hometown of Tokat to international prominence through his dedication, discipline, and technical skill. Baygın achieved his greatest success at the 1972 European Wrestling Championships, where he claimed a gold medal for Turkey, and went on to represent his country at the 1972 Munich Summer Olympics, recording notable victories and coming close to a medal amidst a highly competitive field. In addition to his European title, he earned medals at Mediterranean competitions and strong showings at world events, marking him as a key figure in Turkish wrestling's proud tradition, known for its passionate fans and deep-rooted sporting culture. After retiring from competition, Baygın continued to contribute to the sport, mentoring young wrestlers and remaining a respected voice in Turkey's wrestling circles. His death on 24 January 2026 at the age of 83 was widely noted in Turkish sports, media, and mourned by the wrestling community, closing the chapter on a life that helped elevate Turkish wrestling on the international stage. Richard Rick Link, February 28, 1959. January 14, 2026, was a beloved American professional wrestler, trainer, and promoter whose nearly 5-decade career made him a memorable figure in the world of regional wrestling and independent circuits. Born and raised in Lexington, North Carolina, Link became passionate about wrestling at a young age and began training under Johnny Hunter as a teenager, making his professional debut in 1975 at just 16 years old. He wrestled across numerous promotions throughout Canada, the United States, and New Zealand, including Georgia Championship Wrestling, Jim Crockett Promotions, Stampede Wrestling, and NWA Central States, where he performed under several ring names such as MEB Unman, Eating Beast, and Man Mountain. Link gained particular notoriety in the Continental Wrestling Association in Memphis in the early 1980s, engaging in high-profile feuds with stars like Jerry the King, Lawler, and even being woven into Lawler's feud with entertainer Andy Kaufman, while capturing the AWA Southern Heavyweight Championship during that period. After the collapse of the territorial system, he became a mainstay of the Carolinas' independent wrestling scene and opened his own TNT training center, helping train and promote new talent while continuing to compete in hardcore, bloody brawls against legends such as Abdullah the Butcher, the Iron Sheik, Buddy Landel, and Wahoo McDaniel, though his health declined in later years, and he entered hospice care in late December 2025 as he discontinued dialysis treatment for kidney complications. Link's passion for wrestling and devotion to friends, fans, and his faith were widely noted by those close to him. He passed away peacefully on January 14, 2026, at age 66, prompting an outpouring of tributes from the wrestling community and fans who remembered him as a fierce competitor, dedicated trainer, and larger-than-life personality in the sport. Frankie Kane, famously known by his ring name, Charismatic American, remembered for his dramatic, the most colorful villains of the Born in Tennessee particularly, in promotions such as the Continental Wrestling Association and Psychological Mind Games, captivated rivalries with top fan favorites, to blend theatrical performance reputation as a master heel, wrestling circuits connected to the national. Beyond wrestling, Kane also worked as a manager and mentor, business with younger performers, and figure among peers and fans, leaving behind a legacy as one of the most American professional wrestling. October 29, 1932, February 2, 2026. The Great Mephisto was a professional wrestler and manager best, devil-inspired persona that made him one of Southern Territorial Wrestling era. Kane rose to prominence in the 1970s and 1980s, where his elaborate robes, intense interviews, audiences, and fueled-heated his ability, with solid in-ring skills, earned him a lasting and a creative force in regional wrestling alliance system. Sharing his deep knowledge of the remaining a respected, he passed away on February 2, 2026 at the age of 93. Memorable and theatrical personalities of classic. Kim Wood, 1945-46, January 28, 2026. Was an influential American strength and conditioning coach best, known for becoming the first full-time NFL strength coach with the Cincinnati Bengals in 1975, a position he held through 2002, where he helped pioneer modern training methods emphasizing grip, core, and arm strength long before such approaches were mainstream in sports. Before and during his tenure, Wood was a weight training innovator who worked with early machines at Nautilus, co-founded the exercise brand Hammer Strength, and helped push strength training from free weights toward machines. Although not a pro wrestler himself, he became known within the wrestling world as a mentor to former NFL player Brian Pillman, guiding him as he transitioned into professional wrestling and contributing to the development of Pillman's influential loose cannon persona. Wood appeared in the Vice documentary Dark Side of the Ring, speaking about Pillman's career. He also worked with other fighters, offering training insights to crossover athletes like Ken Shamrock. Wood's impact spanned football, strength training, and indirectly professional wrestling, and he was widely remembered for his innovative coaching, larger-than-life personality, and anti-steroid stance. He passed away at age 80 on January 28, 2026, following a brief illness, leaving behind a legacy felt across sports and fitness communities. Tadao Yasuda, 9 December 1963, 25 January 2026, was a Japanese professional wrestler and former sumo wrestler whose powerful build and legitimate fighting background made him a unique presence in both puroresu and combat sports. Born in Tokyo, Japan, Yasuda first competed in professional sumo before transitioning to pro wrestling, where he became best known for his time with New Japan Pro Wrestling during the 90s and early 2000s. Trained in NJPW's dojo system, he developed a hard-hitting style influenced by strong-style wrestling and later expanded into mixed martial arts, even scoring a notable upset victory over kickboxing legend Jérôme Le Banner in an MMA bout, which brought him international attention. Throughout his career, Yasuda was recognized for his resilience, toughness, and willingness to compete across disciplines, embodying the fighting spirit associated with Japanese combat sports. After stepping away from active competition, he maintained a lower public profile while remaining respected among wrestling fans for his contributions to NJPW's competitive era. Tadao Yasuda passed away on 10 February 2026 at the age of 62, and his death was met with tributes from the Japanese wrestling community, honoring a career that bridged sumo, professional wrestling, and MMA in an unforgettable way. Bobby Douglas, born July 26, 1942, died February 23, 2026, was a legendary American wrestler and one of the most influential collegiate wrestling coaches in United States history. A native of Oklahoma, Douglas first made his mark as an elite competitor, representing the United States in freestyle wrestling at the 1968 Summer Olympics and earning national titles that showcased his technical mastery and relentless work ethic. However, his greatest impact came as a coach, most notably at Iowa State University, where he led the Cyclones from 1978 to 1992 and built one of the nation's most dominant collegiate programs, producing multiple NCAA champions and All-Americans, while helping elevate the university into a powerhouse of the sport, known for his intense discipline, deep technical knowledge, and commitment to athlete development. Douglas also served as a mentor to countless wrestlers who later became champions and coaches themselves, leaving a lasting imprint on American wrestling culture. After decades devoted to competition and coaching, he remained a revered figure in the wrestling community until his passing. On February 23, 2026, at the age of 83, remembered not only for his achievements on the mat, but for shaping generations of wrestlers who carried his legacy forward. Roland Bach, 3rd August 1944, 19th January 2025, was a towering German heavyweight, Athlete born in Geislingen an der Steiger, who first made his mark as a Greco-Roman wrestler, representing West Germany at the 1968 Mexico City Olympics, and later winning the 1970 European Championship and multiple national titles before turning professional and becoming a celebrated international wrestler across Europe, North America, and Japan. Beyond sport, he worked as a hotel manager and actor, appearing in films like Temporal Rosie, and was a larger-than-life promoter and entrepreneur, famously founding the legendary Rockfabrik Ludwigsburg music venue in 1983 that hosted major rock acts for decades. But his career also saw dramatic highs and lows, including business disputes and a later quieter life, and he died at age 81 on 19th of January 2025, with fans and the rock fabric community mourning the loss of one of Germany's most colorful sporting and cultural figures. Janet Fragoso Alonso, January 14, 1973, December 17, 2025. Best known by her ring name Miss Janeth, was a pioneering Mexican professional wrestler from Mexico City whose dynamic in-ring persona as a longtime ruda, heel, made her a standout in lucha libre, especially in asistencia, asesoría y administración, and the Universal Wrestling Association, where she captured the UWA World Women's Championship after its 2001 revival, and later won the prestigious Reina de Reinas tournament and championship in 2006, building a memorable career from the early 1990s through the mid-2000s, with signature wins and fierce rivalries, before stepping back from the spotlight, and she passed away on January 17, 2026, at age 52, prompting an outpouring of tributes from the wrestling community and fans who remembered her bold style and contributions to Mexican women's wrestler. Mark Wolf, October 21st, 1969, January 17th, 2026, was an influential American independent professional wrestler from Baltimore, Maryland, who became a beloved mainstay of the Midwest wrestling scene and a mentor to many rising stars. Trained partly by childhood friend Ian Rotten, Wolf built his reputation in Iowa, Mid-South, where he captured multiple titles, including the heavyweight and light heavyweight championships, and engaged in memorable rivalries, especially with Chris Hero, that helped define the promotion's early 2000s golden era, and in 2003 he even elevated Germany's WXW heavyweight championship to world-level prominence before continuing to wrestle and train others until his last documented match in 2017, and his death at age 56 on January 17, 2026, was met with heartfelt tributes from the wrestling community who remembered his passion, character, and lasting influence on the independent circuit. Johnny Legend, born Martin Margulies, October 3rd, 1948, January 2nd, 2026, was an eccentric American rockabilly musician, film producer, actor, wrestling manager, and underground cultural icon whose offbeat career spanned decades and left a quirky mark on music, film, and wrestling. Born in San Fernando, California, he became known for his wild performances with bands like Johnny Legend and his Skullcaps, co-wrote and co-directed cult films including My Breakfast with Blassie alongside Andy Kaufman and Freddie Blassie, and in 1995 co-founded the outlandish, incredibly strange wrestling promotion that blended punk aesthetics with oddball spectacle, all while appearing in B-movies and embracing the fringe scenes of rock and wrestling. And he died at age 77 in Newport, Oregon from complications of a stroke and heart failure on January 2, 2026, prompting tributes to his singular, most famous person you've never heard of legacy in underground pop culture. T.C. Reynolds, real name Tom Buzanowski, born November 19, 1956 in Butler, Pennsylvania, was a respected American independent professional wrestler and trainer who became a beloved figure on the northeastern U.S. wrestling scene, known for his long career through the 1980s, 90s, and early 2000s, where he competed under various ring names including Thunderbolt, Batman, and most famously as Doink the Clown on the indie circuit after the character's popularity, and who trained many younger wrestlers while embodying the passion and community spirit of grassroots wrestling. After stepping back from full-time competition, he worked outside the ring but remained a mentor and presence in the sport, and he died at the age of 69 in 22 January 2026, with friends, fans, and fellow performers paying tribute to his contributions to independent wrestling.